Today we have a very, 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 very important program. And again, this brother has been working on this for quite some time, and he has also added information because, you know, more and more things are coming out. It's not a conspiracy. We already know what's being done in the school system. We already know what's being waged against us. But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I want to bring on our good brother, Brother Shareef Hamid. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank everyone for coming out. In the name of God, the Most High, the Creator, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, the writing still would not be enough to explain the glory of God, where he is the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We thank him for giving us our ancestors who sacrificed a great deal, including their lives, that we may be here today. Many of them who walked and lived here in America lived under the threat of terrorism and violence every single day. The real terrorism. Al-Qaeda and ISIS has nothing on the terrorism that they face, as evidenced in this book that I suggest y'all get. It's called Without Sanctuary, and it's a documented history of the lynchings in America that went on every day in America. It's called Without Sanctuary. This is what went on, and this is what our ancestors faced on a daily basis. And now, in 2015, no black man, woman, or child can walk the streets and be safe. They're facing the same thing, as evidenced by Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, I think his name is Jordan Crawford, at Walmart, Eric Gardner, Mike Brown.
That's right.
Most recently, Walter Scott, shot in the back 5 times, and in Baltimore, Freddie Gray. And now, on top of the threat of physical violence, they are under the threat of psychological warfare. What we're going to talk about today, educational warfare, spiritual warfare, where pastors are asking for $65 million for a jet instead of giving them verses on how to deal with this. Where are the verses for that, Pastor? Or Imam? Where are the verses for that? That's spiritual warfare. Stop teaching the same 5 verses that we've been given the last 50 years and give them a verse on how to free the minds and the bodies of the people. So now we're under the psychological and the educational warfare, and that's why we're here today, not just to talk, not just for another lecture, but for solutions to our problem. So we have to lean on the backs of our ancestors to have us rise again and to fight this wicked demon. Talking about Marcus Garvey, Amy Jakes Garvey, Henrietta Venton Davis, Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Clara Muhammad, Khalid Muhammad, Minister Malcolm, and Betty Shabazz. We need their wisdom, strength, guidance, and courage to get us out of the grips of these wicked people. So with all that, I greet you in words of peace. To my Muslim family, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, brother.
To my conscious family, hotep. To my people in the church, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
To the people in the street, what's good with you? It all means peace.
That's right.
That's right, brother.
So again, I'm Brother Shareef. I'm a counselor in the school system. I work with children that have supposed mental and emotional problems. They come to me. We try to navigate through them. I have children that have supposed ADD, ADHD, bipolar, the whole nine. And I go all throughout the school system working with these children. Currently, right now, I have over 100 children that I service. So that's 100 children too many that's be labeled, criminalized, medicated. We're going to talk about that, but before we hear from you, because I want to hear from you so we can come up with solutions and start drawing parallels to what's been going on, I just want to give you a brief history of how this just didn't start even over the last 20 years, because a lot of us hear about the same age and we'll say, well, we didn't see this when we were in school. We didn't hear nothing about ADHD. We didn't have all these services in school. Where all this come from? And that's true. But they've been working on this, the medication, the labeling, for hundreds of years. And unless you're in that field of counseling or mental health, you would never, not be able to, but you wouldn't connect the dots on how this had been coming down the pike, and they've been working on this for hundreds of years, literally. So I just want to connect those dots on how this isn't nothing new. Even within the last 20 years, it's been going on. The labeling, the criminalization, the mental disorders that don't exist. Remember that, they don't exist. If you got in your mind, if you can put something into someone's mind that something is real, it becomes their reality. They have proven this with insects and animals. Recently they did a study with insects and animals. They did it with fleas. Now I used to work in pest control, so I know how fleas work. With fleas, they put fleas in a cup about this big, put a cover over the cup, and after the fleas repeatedly tried to jump out of the cup with the cover on, once they took the cover off, you know the fleas wouldn't jump out the cup. Now, fleas can jump 5 to 6 feet off of the ground, but by them repeatedly trying to jump out of the cup and them having the cover over the cup, the devil made them believe that they couldn't jump out of the cup. Nothing wrong with the hind legs of the fleas. Follow me now and connect that to us. Nothing wrong with them. But they were tricked into believing they couldn't jump out the cup. Nothing wrong with them. And then they put fish in a giant aquarium. Then they put a wall in between the aquarium. After the fish repeatedly hit this wall and couldn't go to the other side, after they removed the wall, you know the fish wouldn't go to the other side of the aquarium. He stopped right there where that wall was. Nothing wrong with his gills. Nothing wrong with him. But he was tricked into believing that he couldn't go to the other side. Then they finally did it with an elephant. Repeatedly put his food 10 feet away. So he got used to walking 10 feet to get his food. And then they put his food 15 feet away. You know, the elephant almost starved because he wouldn't walk an extra 5 feet to get his food. Nothing wrong with his trunk, nothing wrong with his legs, nothing wrong with his eyes. He was tricked into believing he couldn't walk an extra 5 feet to get his food. And the same damn thing has been happening to our children. And the sad thing is, we as educators, some parents, have taken on the belief that it's something wrong with our children. That's a badass boy. You need to go to jail. You're just like your no good daddy. And on and on and on until it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then the children start believing it. Oh, I didn't take my medicine this morning, Mr. Shareef. That's why I'm acting up. I had one teacher the other day say, and she's a sweetheart, she's a nice sister, but she said, so-and-so is always acting up first thing in the morning. I go there first thing in the morning, and I said, well, what do you think causes that? I don't think his mom is giving him his medication. I said, okay. So I said, what I'll do is I'll start coming to the classroom first thing in the morning. After about 2 weeks of me repeatedly going there and check on him, he ain't act up no more. So I go to the teacher and say, you notice he's been behaving? She said, yeah, he has. And I said, and what medication did I give him? And she even had to look. She said, well, you didn't give him anything. I said, well, I thought he had ADHD. I thought he was bipolar. There's nothing wrong with him. He just needed some consistency and a little manhood in his life. Oh, I forgot. He really does have ADHD. He does. You know what kind of ADHD he has? She said, what's that? Ain't no daddy at home disorder. That's the ADHD he has. Ain't no daddy at home disorder. Not attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It don't exist. And I'm gonna prove it to you. All right? But before we get into that, give me them lights, brother. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't want me to stop, do you?
Keep going, brother.
Keep it up.
Before, okay, name of this, the Mentary challenges of black children in the school system. Before we get into that topic, it is related, but it's not related. With our youth, this is very, very important. You may not hear this anywhere else. With this tobacco, they are erecting these places all over the place, and it's killing black people and killing our youth. I was invited to a seminar in Winston